Hi, welcome Lokesh. Good to see you after a recent Mount Whitney tracking tour, picking up these like 14,500 feet. How was it? Tell us about that.
Hey Gaurav, always nice to talk to you. The trip was awesome. The weather turned really bad at the end. It snowed a lot and the winds were at 60, 70 knots. But it was an awesome experience. And always camping at high altitude is always a nice experience.
Great. And let's pull you back into your IT work and your work profile so that you don't miss it for too long. Today's session is for discussing why managing Wi-Fi has become super important at homes and offices. So, if you could please tell us that we all have now access to broadband connections, and still, from time to time, we face extremely poor quality networks. Why is it so? After such an advancement, still these things happen.
So what people don't realize is that the main problem for the people feels about the Wi-Fi connectivity is the Wi-Fi itself. It has not much to do with the broadband connection coming into your home. You may get a gigabit connection coming into your house and may think that will solve all the problems regarding inter-application bandwidth prioritization. And those are big words, but basically which application takes how much bandwidth. On your Wi-Fi network, you are always constrained and constrained by several factors. One factor is that your device may be too far away and you want to see a streaming video come in, and how far you are away and what is the signal quality affects your streaming at that particular distance. Second is that Wi-Fi for most of the common routers is still going to not give you more than 100 megabits per second. And that bandwidth is between all the devices which are there on the network.
Right.
Now, that creates a problem. You may have a gigabit at the back end provided your ISP, but 900 Mbps is lost and not really used. Only 100 Mbps, around 100 Mbps is used on your Wi-Fi. That also creates a bottleneck for you. So, and there are many other reasons that I can go into, but these are probably the two main reasons.
So, is it the device itself at fault or is it something else?
Um, like all important resources, you need to have some kind of control and understanding of the resources coming in. For network, it becomes too technical, and that's why you do not get an insight into what exactly is going on. That's the main problem that we're trying to solve. In this case, it is not the device, but the whole network in terms of the behavior of the network, and that's what we're trying to address.
Right. And how does latency affect the overall user experience?
It affects in the conference call. Like we are doing the conference call, and if the packets are getting delivered too late, you will start to see a mismatch in terms of someone stopping or someone trying to stop someone for asking a question or even getting a response back. It does not remain natural. On a phone, typically the latency is of the order of 2 milliseconds beyond, and they ensure on the phone network. So the phones are always nice in terms of interactivity. On internet communication, 20 milliseconds is considered to be a good benchmark for that. But many times, if a lot of applications are competing for the same bandwidth, the latencies increase tremendously and the quality of the calls fall.
Right. And normally we see this question arising number of times that what is a good internet or a Wi-Fi speed?
Um, a good speed for Wi-Fi depends on the application. So for very intense application like gaming applications, they take these days around 50 to 60 megabits per second. 4K streaming, which is not mainstream right now, but there are 4K streams out there. 4K TVs will be mainstream in year or two. Those would take 50 to 60 megabits per stream. 4K computers are going to be pretty intense. Normal HD streaming is of the order of 6 to 8 megabits per second. Conference calls like these are also around 6 to 8 megabits per second. So you have to look at the different applications running in your house at the same time. For instance, if you have two 4K streams running either through conference calls or TV or wherever you're consuming the content, it may quickly overwhelm the 100 Mbps that you might have coming in through your Wi-Fi. The answer to real answer is this is both hardware and software dependent thing.
Mhm.
So with Wi-Fi, you have Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 6 coming in. That has channel 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz channel. Those channels supports 1 gigabit per second lines. Those are ample, but the range for these is very small. So as you increase the frequency at which you're transferring the data, the range reduces. So in those scenarios, the range gets reduced quite a bit. So you end up falling back on the longer range 2.4, which
Okay.
is restricting your connectivity back to 100 to 150 Mbps. So the overall questions, what you're asking has complex answer. What we are trying to do with our app that we have created and the management system that we have created, that users don't have to worry about all these. We take care of all these complicated issues uh, behind the scenes so that end user, we understand what pain they're facing and that pains
Mhm.
get rectified without them having to be a network engineer. That's our job here.
Right. So what you're saying is even if we progress to Wi-Fi 6, we are still not able to get that kind of a range because that becomes prohibitive there. So as a user and as a solution that you guys have developed, does that solution work on Wi-Fi 5 routers also, or it has to be necessarily work on Wi-Fi 6?
No, no, it works on all kinds of routers. Our solution is software solution. It could be ported to Wi-Fi 6 uh, and the earlier versions of the routers. Uh, but the thing that you have to keep in mind is that as you buy more and more expensive hardware, you can put a mesh that increases the range of Wi-Fi 6, and then you can buy these expensive routers with Wi-Fi 6 radios, etc. on them, and then they put extra radios. All this makes the systems very expensive. So our estimation is that typical home may require up to $600 worth of equipment buying. And of course, router companies love that you're buying
Oh,
very expensive equipment. We can provide about the same quality of user experience, and that's what we need to emphasize, the quality of experience that end user is facing, with something like on a router of the order of 50 to $100, that order of magnitude. So we are costing one sixth. Now, people who are very rich is probably better off going and buying the most expensive hardware and installing in their homes. Most people would are cost conscious, and if the quality in the end they're seeing is the same, our solutions wins hands down with regard to that.
perfect. So you mentioned the household usage and the cost it saves when jumped on to this solution. What else can be the benefit of it? Because let's take an example of a household with working parents and kids. It's very difficult to control the usage of Wi-Fi, especially when the parents are working from home and kids are being schooled from home. How does Reserve or the app that you have developed comes in handy at that junction?
So we provide a parental control feature in the software that we have done. We also provide ad blocking and blocking of um sites which are not good in general. So we maintain a list of those sites and make sure that if the user enables those kinds of features, they can block some of these unwanted sites. With parental control, we provide access on a per user basis, not just per device basis, but on a per user basis that a specific user, let's say, categorized as kids or a specific kid in the house will have access to certain applications only for certain amount of time. So our parental control enables all that. There are other solutions in the market. Our solution is clearly superior because We do it on a per user basis, not just on a per device, so per user, per application. For that, you have to be able to identify the application correctly at router, and we have special technology to do that.
So one question that's coming out: can I stop the kids to watch Netflix in the school time?
No, absolutely. And we have built in a feature with the smart speaker interface that you can just, you don't even have to open up your app. You can just say that, no, just don't show Netflix during school time, and we would understand that command.
Wow, is that going to be that easy?
We plan to make it that easy and easier still, and we are working on that constantly. Our main focus of development is the ease of use for the end users and not keep it technical and inaccessible to most of the users. So anything that we built, the biggest emphasis is to see how an average user who is not graduating to become a network engineer, how they could utilize. Most people clearly understand and know and have expectation on what they want from their devices or how they want to consume the content or how they want to prioritize. But currently, the process of converting that into an actual network setting is very difficult. And our main goal in what we are doing is to make sure that uh, that problem that consumers are facing today goes away. So it has to
Awesome.
be really easy, right? Anything we do, first thing we find out is whether it is easily accessible to our potential target audience.
Right. And I believe you are on a spree to get this product available in the market for household use as free. Is that right?
Yeah, so the software itself right now could be downloaded from our websites. We are supporting 4 or 5 routers right now, and on request, we are porting to almost any router that the user might be using. And currently, we are providing cost-free on a personal license basis.
That's great. And from where can I go and download it from?
You can Google Rezrv, REZRV or REZRV, and download, and you will get to the download page. You can go to our product page at 24.com, and then you can look up the product there.
Right. And Lokesh, if more people want to get in touch with you or ask you specific questions, where they can find you?
They can drop me an email at contact@24.com. That would be the easiest way to catch hold of me. If you come to the 24 website, TANTIV4 website, you can find the contact there.
Perfect. Thank you, Lokesh, for giving us your valuable time and explaining Rezrv to us and how the bandwidth is taking different shapes now. See you again
No,
very
no, I
soon.
am actually, Gaurav, sorry that some of my explanation went a little bit more technical than I had intended them to be. But we will try keep on working on simplifying things for our users. That's our main motto.
I hope the product implementation would be simpler than the explanations. That should be the
Yes,
usage.
it is. It absolutely is. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you for coming down and explaining these to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gaurav. Always nice talking to you.